Can you just tell us where we're at in the case and what you expect to happen coming in the next?
Where we're at in the case is that the Southern District Court of New York, federal court, Judge Catherine Forrest, issued a ruling in September declaring Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act unconstitutional. She invalidated the law. She issued an injunction, which means that the ability of the military to seize American citizens, hold them in military facilities, strip them of due process indefinitely was taken off the books. The Obama administration, the day that she issued the ruling, went to Judge Forrest and said, "We would like you to put the law back into effect until the appeal is heard in the Second Circuit," which is the next level of the court before the Supreme Court. Judge Forrest, to her credit, refused. The Obama administration lawyers then went to the Second Circuit. This was on a Friday, 9 a.m. the next Monday morning. They went to the Second Circuit, and they again asked the Second Circuit to give them an emergency stay, meaning the law would be put back into effect. The Second Circuit gave them that stay. Now, this was quite disturbing to myself as a plaintiff, as well as the lawyers and the other plaintiffs, because it seems to indicate that they're already using the law. We knew they would appeal, but the fact that they appealed that aggressively, because if they are holding U.S. citizens, as I suspect they are, probably U.S. Pakistani dual nationals in places like Bagram, and this law was stricken from the books, i.e. American citizens have to be given due process, then they would be in contempt of court. We now heard the oral arguments before the Second Circuit, and the Second Circuit will issue a ruling. They will either uphold Judge Forrest's decision or reject it. If they uphold it, given the response of the Obama administration, it is abundantly clear that this will be in the Supreme Court within a matter of weeks, and they will again demand an emergency stay to put this law back into effect. If we lose, we will appeal it, but the Supreme Court could decide not to take the case, in which case, at that point, we've just become a military dictatorship.
What are your expectations and how are you feeling like it's going to go?
I've learned from the lawyers that it's very unwise to predict how judges will rule. I thought that Bruce Afron and Carl Mayer, who have brought the case from the beginning, did a brilliant job of demolishing the government arguments. Maybe I'm a little biased. But I think they really did. I think that on the merits, we should win.
During the Bush administration, we saw a very large anti-war movement. Now you're not really seeing it. Why do you think the Obama administration is being able to seemingly get away with something like this under the radar?
Well, because Obama is the soft face of imperial corporate power. He's a brand, and he functions very effectively as a brand. I have long argued and believed that the personal narratives of presidential candidates is meaningless. If you look at all of the major structural issues, there is complete continuity from the Bush administration to the Obama administration, and that's because these individual figures have very little power. The way the American political system is configured now, it is impossible to vote against the interests of Goldman Sachs. You can't do it. Or ExxonMobil. Or Raytheon, or all of those people who profit by continuing these endless wars in the Middle East. So I think that unfortunately, because of Obama's rhetoric, people spend a little too much time listening to his rhetoric and not watching what he does, which is all that counts. And what he does is really repugnant and awful. I'm less forgiving of Obama because he's a constitutional lawyer. Unlike our previous president, he's not a moron. He understands what he's doing. He's conscious of what he's doing in a way that I think George Bush was pretty checked out on most stuff. And that makes him, for me, a deeply cynical figure. I have long railed against the liberal class and the left for not standing up. And one day they're going to deeply regret it.
With the NDAA happening at the same time as all the war on whistleblowers with Bradley Manning and everyone else, what do you foresee happening with the next 3 years with these kind of things happening?
Well, if we lose this case, and if there are widespread street demonstrations and unrest, as there inevitably will be, the economy continues to erode, despite the sort of Potemkin statistics that they throw at us. The climate change is accelerated beyond the predictions of most climate scientists, even the ones who are very dire. Joseph Stiglitz, the Nobel Prize A laureate economist calls now climate change our most important economic issue. He's right. Eventually there will be blowback. And they want to be able to call the military into the streets and seize American citizens and hold them without due process. You know, Judge Forrest, in her 112-page opinion, when she issued a ruling, brought up the issue of the 110,000 Japanese Americans who were detained during World War II and stripped of due process. As this provision within the NDAA essentially opens the door for that possibility.
Do you think the American government could ever become tyrannical?
No, I really don't.
No, I don't think so. I just think that's,
I think we have enough checks and balances to...
And we are here in Washington, D.C. for Barack Obama's second inauguration. And I'm willing to bet $100 of my own money that no one here knows the man they're here supporting.